Hello again, everyone. It's that time of the week when we have our live. Yes, today I'm very excited. I'm really excited every Wednesday. Yes, I'm very excited because we're going to be talking about witchcraft. And we are going to be learning a lot. So, we are going to start with some history lessons. Okay? So, early witches were people who practiced witchcraft, using magic spells and calling upon spirits for help or to bring about change. Most witches were thought to be pagans doing the devil's work. Many, however, were simply natural healers or so-called wise women whose choice of profession was highly misunderstood. It's unclear exactly when witches came on the historical scene, but one of the earliest records of a witch is in the Bible in the book of Samuel, thought to be written between 931 BC and 721 BC. Witch hysteria started early on, but really took hold in Europe during the mid 1400s, when many accused witches confessed, often under torture, to a variety of wicked behaviors. Within a century, witch hunts were common, and most of the accused were executed by burning at the stake or hanging. Single women, widows, and other women on the margins of society were especially targeted. The Salem witch trials began when 9-year-old Elizabeth Harris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams began suffering from fits, body contortions, and uncontrolled screaming. Today, it's believed that they were poisoned by fungus that caused spasms and delusions. Ultimately, around 150 people were accused and 18 were put to death. Women were not the only victims of the Salem witch trials. 6 men were also convicted and executed. Massachusetts wasn't the first of the 13 colonies to obsess about witches, though. In Windsor, Connecticut, in 1647, Alls Young was the first person in America executed for witchcraft. Before Connecticut's final witch trial took place in 1697, 46 people were accused of witchcraft in that state, and 11 were put to death for that crime. In Virginia, people were less frantic about witches. In fact, in Lower Norfolk County in 1655, a law was passed making it a crime to falsely accuse someone of witchcraft. Still, witchcraft was a concern. About 24 witch trials, mostly of women, took place in Virginia between 1626 and 1730. None of the accused were executed. There are so many types of witches out there that it can be really confusing to figure out what type of witchcraft you feel drawn to. Here, the most common kinds of witchcraft today. Green witch. Green witches are also called garden witches or forest witches. They are very connected to the earth and draw their magic from the natural world, and specifically from earthly elements. If you are a green witch, you probably incorporate many earthly elements, such as herbs and plants, in your practice. Kitchen witch. The kitchen witch, also known as a hearth witch, mainly practices magic in the, you guessed it, in the kitchen. These witches use herbs, cooking potions, and any other types of recipe to concoct spells. If you practice kitchen or hearth witchcraft, You probably love smells, baking, cooking, or learning about herbs and spices. Your power stems from the actual process of cooking or baking and the emotions you put into it. They also tend to have a healing energy when family or friends are sick and can quite literally heal through food. So, what's the difference between being a kitchen witch and just cooking or baking for your family? None. Zero. Nada. Fire witch. A fire witch essentially draws power from fire. If you're a fire witch, you may love that element, or you may have more success with fire spells such as candle spells or potions over open flame. Focus is on candle spells, fire deities, red and orange crystals, and hot and spicy herbs to gain more power. I recommend practicing drawing your power from the flame of a candle when casting the spell, instead of from the earth or another source. An experienced fire witch almost always carries a lighter or matches with him or her in case they need to cast a spell in a pinch. Divination witch. A divination witch essentially focuses at least quite a bit on divination practices. This can mean literally any type of divination practice, such as tarot, astrology, scrying, pendulum, or even meditation. Most divination witches practice some other type of witchcraft as well, but they enjoy incorporating divination practice into the craft. For example, a divination witch may use tarot in spells, scry before performing a spell, or draw power from swinging the pendulum. Moon witches. If you are a moon witch, you may be very in tune with lunar cycles and draw power from the moon. It's important to routinely notice not only what phase the moon is in, but also what astrology signs it falls into. Both of these elements will impact a moon witch more than others. Sea witch. A sea witch has a strong connection to water and to the ocean. Some sea witches are particular to the ocean and to salt water, while others feel a connection to all bodies of water. You may also perform strong spells on the beach and change the type of spell depending on the weather and the mood of the ocean. Crystal witch. If you're a crystal witch, then you are deeply connected to the vibration and energetic power of crystals, gems, and stones. Crystal witches draw upon the power of crystals to cast spells. They know how to intuitively communicate with crystals and can tell what kind of magic work each crystal wants to do. Eclectic witch. The eclectic witch encompasses all different types of witches and types of witchcrafts. It's basically a little bit of everything. You might enjoy traditional weekend ceremonies, worship Greek gods and goddesses, work with the forest, the sea, and the sun, and use divination or your psychic abilities in your spells. You may have a totally different mixture than this. So, what kind of witch are you, Yari? I'm glad you asked. I love witchcraft in general. So I will probably be an eclectic witch. I love some candle magic. And I use all kinds of herbs, flowers, and crystals to dress my candles in my spell jars. I also love the moon and try to perform moon rituals as much as possible. And I've been kitchen witch for years, feeding my growing family. I'm known for loving every aspect of the cooking process, including composing the menu, purchasing the components, prepping the meal, cooking it, and getting people's reaction. That's the best part. I also love growing my own herbs and some vegetables in my garden to use in my cooking. One of my favorite things to do is go to the backyard to grab some fresh peppers and herbs and throw them into the pot. Although I don't do as much cooking anymore since my kids are older now, I practice other kinds of witchcraft on a daily basis. In my office, I have an altar with deities, offerings, and a dedicated space to do spells. Many witches, me included, decide to work with different deities. Deities are different gods and goddesses from different cultures that people may feel attracted to. The online Encyclopedia Britannica says a deity is a god, goddess, or other supernatural being considered divine. While not all religions involve deities, deities are central to most of the world's largest religions today. The exact qualities of a deity will vary from one belief system to another, but they generally have powers and knowledge far beyond those of humanity. I always found interesting that I was very drawn to Hindu deities. Come to find out, in one of my past lives, I was indeed a princess from India. I've also had a past life in Egypt and other places, but my deities, from some reason, are always from India. But there are many deities that are very well known. For example, some Greek deities include gods such as Zeus, Hades, and Aphrodite. While there are unique Roman gods and goddesses, they actually adopted many of the stories and deities from ancient Greece. For example, the ancient Greek god Zeus and the Roman god Jupiter are the same god, just with different names. Aphrodite became Venus, and Hades became Mars. Egyptian gods include Ptah, the patron god of Thebes, as well as Horus, Isis, and Osiris. For Hindu gods and goddesses, you get names such as Shiva, Vishnu, and my two favorite, Lakshmi and Ganesh. But we also have Aztec, Indian, Japanese, African, and Native American gods, among many, many others. So, how to choose a deity? Many witches that work with deities will tell you that you don't choose them. They choose you. But I will give you some steps to follow so you can discover which deity has chosen you. Reflect on your beliefs, values, and interests. Research, and learn about different deities. Trust your intuition and your inner guidance. Start with your ancestors. Avoid starting with multiple deities. That's just going to confuse you. Start with one or two. I've been doing this for years and I only work with two. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the Book of Shadows. The Book of Shadows is just a journal you keep for yourself. I am a big fan of keeping journals. In the perfect world, you should keep several. One just for you, where you write about your day, your feelings, wishes, roadblocks, and so on and so forth. You should also keep a dream journal. Everybody dreams. Some are better at remembering what they dream about than others, but everyone remember their dreams at least every once in a while. So for those of you who keep, you should keep, for for those times, you should keep a journal. If this is very, very infrequent, you can have a section in your regular journal dedicated for your dreams. If you are a tarot reader, you have lucid dreams, you do astral travel, you channel angels or any kind of spirit from other realms, or visit the Akasha on a consistent basis, you should keep a journal of that. All of the journals mentioned above will give you patterns, which will in turn give you incredible clarity about your path and many, many other things. I always recommend to my mediumship students to keep a journal of their readings. This will show you how much you have progressed on your mediumship journey. But also because this will give you the opportunity to keep a dictionary of sorts of your mediumship symbols. There are going to be symbols in your mediumship readings that are going to be unique to you. You want to keep track of those and read it frequently. You don't want to be in the middle of a reading in front of a client and say, oh, wait a minute, what did a feather mean to me? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up, because you're gonna look not good, right? And of course, if you're doing witchcraft, you want to keep a book of shadows. And this is just the name that we have decided to give to a witch's journal. There's a wealth of information regarding witchcraft. And since most people go the eclectic route, it's very hard to keep up with all the information that you gather. You should keep tracks of things, of the things that you're learning, the spells that you're doing, the recipes, and if they're working for you or not. I'll show you mine. Pretty, with butterflies. I have several throughout the years, and this is just the current one that I just started. So if you, it doesn't, so you see, I said that it was just butterflies. It doesn't have to look in any specific way. You can buy one of those that look very old and are leather bound with old looking pages. Yeah, they look very cool. I have definitely been tempted to purchase one of those, but at the end of the day, this is a working notebook, okay? You want it to lay flat. That's why I buy the spiral. You want it to lay flat, okay? So you can read it. You can read your recipes, say your affirmations and your incantations without having to hold it up or hold it open. And I rather my money go to herbs and tarot decks rather than a cool looking notebook. But that's just me. Okay, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. And like always, if you want to learn more, write witchcraft in the comments below, and I will address any questions you may have. Also, if you missed the live, you can always find the lives in the group. I always keep them in the group. But if you're having a hard time looking through the group, I've heard some people having a hard time finding the videos. You can always find them on my YouTube channel. I post them in the group first, and then I upload them to YouTube and many times to my TikTok too. So you can always find them there. And it's exactly the same video, but I give it to you first to the group. Okay, don't forget, tonight, my friend Michael and I are doing free mediumship readings from 7:30 till 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're interested, you can find the link for that in the group. I posted it at least twice. I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I will see you in the next live Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll see you in the group.